Hey folks, it's Nate, and it's time for another QuickCast. Hey folks, just thought I'd give you guys a little bit of a tidbit. I haven't recorded anything in the garage lately. You may have seen a short video I recorded just this past weekend about a fellow Jeeper who has been diagnosed with breast cancer. There's a fund to help her with medical expenses. You could, wow, that was fun. Someone just like crossed the center line. That's, oh, I see. There's a bunch of police. Huh. That's weird. Anyway. Right, so you may have seen that video. I encourage you to go back and watch that and see some, there's links in there about how you can help out. Her name is Dee Brown, if I remember correctly. She's a member of a group of LJ owners that I'm a member of on Facebook. As I said in the other video, and I won't bore you guys too much with it again in this video, but I don't know her personally, but she's a member of the community and a member of a closer group that I'm a member of. So, you know, help people out. It's great. Man, people are just idiots. Dude just passed me in the passing zone. I'm not even going that slow. Speed limits are there for a reason, dude. Anyway, I'm rambling already. Video's only started. So anyway, yeah, I wanted to give you guys something, even though I'm not in the garage. I'm maybe hitting the garage in the next couple of weeks to start the control arm project that I hinted at in the last QuickCast. So, yeah, that should be a thing that's coming. I've got guiding this weekend, and I'll have to look at my schedule. I have another weekend in July that I have to guide. So, if I'm going to do the control arms, I got to get them done quickly enough that it doesn't interfere with that. Can't guide if I don't have a running Jeep, right? Or a driving Jeep. So, yeah, that'll be coming maybe early July. I guess we'll see. My schedule's filling up with family stuff. It's just the way it is. Summer. Kids are off school and all that stuff. Summer outings and whatever. So yeah. I've been thinking in my head about how to build a high clearance skid plate, because at the moment, that is, in my opinion, the biggest weakness in the LJ. Is that the longer wheelbase and that really low-hanging transmission crossmember, or skid plate if you want to call it that. It's just, it gets hung up on everything, and it's getting beat up, and it's not exactly the sturdiest plate in the world. My transmission skid, which came from the factory, if you've ever seen an automatic transmission TJ, you'll know what I'm talking about. There's this extension on the front of the transfer case / transmission cross member that extends to cover the belly pan of the transmission, the automatic transmission. That thing it's practically falling off at this point. It's been so abused. There's 2 bolts, maybe 4 bolts, that hold it to the front of the transfer case skid or cross member, and at least one of them is broken and gone. There's 2 bolts that hold them to the frame, you know, that goes across the front and up to the frame. One of them, it's really odd. It's sort of like slotted, like someone tried to cut it at some point. So I haven't touched that yet because I'm worried it's going to just disintegrate in my hands when I try to remove it. Otherwise, I would have taken off that skid plate and fixed it up by now. I just haven't had the time to really be prepared to deal with that mess of a bolt there. So that'll be coming. The other problem with that plate, that protector, is that the way it's designed, so I can't describe it well to you, and I can't show it to you because I'm driving and need to pay attention to the road, but the plate sort of extends from the front of the crossmember skid, you know, the transfer case skid, and it goes up to the front of the transmission. and then there's an arm that comes out on either side that goes up to the frame. The problem is that those arms go straight out and then up, right? So on the driver's side, next to your transmission, what's there? I'll give you a minute to think about it. Ding, 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 your drive shaft. The front drive shaft runs right up the driver's side of the transmission, and that arm goes under the drive shaft. So that's fine under normal driving conditions, but as soon as you flex out that suspension, and I mean when you get to the limits of the stock TJ suspension, that drive shaft starts to rub on the arm of that skid plate. So that needs attention. I've only rubbed it a couple times. It sounds horrible when it happens, and I don't like the fact that it's contacting the drive shaft, because as it grinds into the drive shaft like that, I think it's going to weaken the stock drive shaft. So that's something that I want to deal with. The problem with the skid plate is I want to raise it up closer to the frame rails, because that's the thing you do when you replace your cross member, right? You want to have more clearance, and you want to have a smooth belly to it, right? So the stock one is very sort of ridged, right? And that'll catch on rocks and whatever that you're going over. So I want to get rid of all that and make it nice and smooth on the bottom. The problem is to do that right, and by right I mean to get it as high as possible, which would be flush with the frame rails. You either need to raise your drivetrain into the body of the Jeep by cutting the floor out and raising it or something, which is a lot of work, or you need to raise the body of the Jeep with a body lift. I don't know, I'm not sure how I want to proceed there. I don't want to just get a body lift, a puck, spacer lift, and put the longer bolts in and whatnot, even though that's the least expensive way to go. You can get pucks and raise the body for probably under $200, $100, something like that. The alternative is to actually raise the body and move the body mounts up, and that sounds a lot more attractive to me. I know this might sound crazy to some people, depending on what sort of trails you ride, or if you ride trails at all, but I've actually hit my body mounts on the rocks, the stock body mounts. A couple of them are bent. They're not broken or anything, but they're bent up, and a lot of places make replacement body mounts. Coffee. A lot of places make replacement body mounts that have sort of a curve to them, so that if they contact the rocks, you sort of slide over them, instead of just the U design that the stock body mounts are, which really aren't terribly strong. They're fine. They're a fine design for everyday driving, but if you're going to be beating them up on the rocks, you're going to break them. And that's, I mean, obviously you don't want to break a body mount on the trail, right? So, yeah, I'm thinking there's a couple companies that make these, and you cut off the old body mounts, you raise the body up, and then you weld these body mounts onto the frame wherever you'd like them, as high up as you want. So I think that may be the solution. Take off the skid plate, build a new one, take the bolts for the body out, lift it up just high enough to clear the new skid plate, if the drivetrain clears the new skid plate, and then weld those new body mounts on. The problem there is that obviously now I need to buy body mounts, which makes this whole project a little more expensive. I could probably build some, which is what I'm planning on doing with the skid plate. I'm going to build my own skid plate, and that's not impossible. I can certainly do that. I don't know if it's worth it. Body mounts are pretty important. The skid plate is going to get beat up, and I imagine that in a couple of years I'm going to be tearing it apart to fix things up anyway. So I'm going to build it as strong as possible, but I'm going to build it as inexpensively as possible. Body mounts, on the other hand, those I want to build to last. I want those things to get moved, attached, and never have to worry about them again, because they're not an item that I expect to be dragging over rocks frequently. So that's sort of a conundrum. It means means I need to put a little more money into this, and it means it's not going to be as cheap as I had hoped. And then, of course, raising the transfer case and transmission means I'm changing the angle of the entire driveline from the engine on back. So now, basically, when you raise your transmission, you're pivoting everything upward on the engine mounts, the motor mounts. So that could do a couple things. One, if my motor mounts are going bad already, this could further that problem. They could go bad more from the change. The other thing is the output on the transfer case is going to move up a little bit, and it's going to tilt up a little bit because of the pivoting on the motor mounts, which means my rear drive shafts could need attention, or at least the slip yoke on the transfer case plus the drive shaft could need attention. And that concerns me a little, because if I start getting into slip yoke eliminator and custom drive shaft territory, well, that's an expense I'm not ready for. The other solution, of course, would be to do motor mount lift. I'm not opposed to that, but again, more expense. I have seen that you could build your own simply by spacing the motor mounts, but again, if the motor mounts I have need to be replaced anyway, I may as well buy some, poly motor mounts or something, and put them on, which is just going to be more and more and more expense. The thing I want to avoid is getting into a cheap belly pan for $1,000 when all is said and done. Now, sure, I could buy a belly up skid plate for like $400 or $500 and then have to do all this stuff, or I could build my own high clearance belly up skid plate that's stronger and built to my own liking for maybe $200, and of course my time. But I've always been of the opinion that time doesn't matter much if you enjoy what you're doing, and I enjoy building things, so that could be fun. But anyway, it's all the added expenses that I need to think about, and well, I've already gone over them for you. I'm not going to go over it again. I'm just not looking forward to all the extra expense. So, this may end up being a thing that waits until, I don't know, I hit the lottery or something. So.
I thought I was in.
Dude.
I thought I was in, and when I stepped on it, it all splashed up over. And now if I turn the key, it's hydrolock, because I know what hydrolocking is.
Well, now you're going to get wet feet.
Wish I would have worn shorts. Trying to think what I could hook it to. It's probably easier from the back, but...
You've got a hook in the front. So, you might think that I sound like a cheapskate. You're kind of right. But it's not without merit. I've got a family to support. I've got, well, this is probably not a popular topic, but Jeeps are expensive. And people deal with that in different ways. People deal with that by just going into debt and not caring. And that was me 15 years ago. Unfortunately, I didn't realize debt was not maybe the best solution for that sort of thing until recently. I haven't been putting a lot of money into the Jeep, as you've probably noticed, but just life in general gets expensive, especially when you've got kids, and the credit card is really easy to reach for. I'm working on fixing that, but man, it's going to be rough. On the bright side, once I do solve it, it should mean that I'm going to have a lot more free money. Not free, but you know what I mean. A lot more money available at the end of the month. Yeah. Just remember, folks, when you see that YouTuber, like me or anybody else, who looks like they've got it all together and looks like they've got a pile of money, they might have this all figured out, and they may be funding it in a very responsible way. They might not. They could be throwing it all on credit card and hoping they can deal with it later. I do not recommend that. I've mentioned that in some of the other videos, and well, it's becoming more and more important to me. to really think about finances. And I don't know, maybe it's just because I'm growing up. Finally. All right, I don't want to give you guys too much of a downer, but yeah, guys, don't finance toys. Somebody told me that 20 years ago and I didn't listen to them. I should have. Do not finance toys. I don't care if you love that Jeep sitting on the lot. Save up for it. Pay cash. Don't spend $30K on, or $40K on a brand spanking new Rubicon that you're going to drag over the rocks. If you can afford that without financing, then that's awesome for you. I wouldn't recommend it. It's just, you're setting yourself up for failure. You're setting yourself up for debt, and debt is not fun. So, on that note, I think I'm going to call it a day. So, I did want to mention, I know I've been teasing this idea of a giveaway. I need to see if I can work out a deal with my Teespring shop. So Teespring is where, if you go to SWBCrawler.com, at the top in the menu there's a link for my apparel shop. I've been coming up with snarky t-shirts and funny off-roading things. I recently made a little baby onesie that says Little Crawler on the front, and on the back it's got a four-wheel drive shifter, mimicking the two-wheel versus four-wheel drive of your infant. I don't know, I think it's funny. Maybe no one else does, but anyway, I put that up there. I think it's great. You should go buy one. It's funny. Anyway, I need to work out through Teespring if there's some way I can do like a promo code that I can give you guys as a prize for my giveaway. If I can figure that out, then this makes things simpler. The other weird thing about YouTube giveaways, so the idea here is simple. I want to do a push for 500 subscribers. I'm at almost 300 now. Maybe 200 is a bit optimistic. Maybe I'll do a 400 subscriber push. I don't know. But the idea would be simple. Subscribers, new subscribers will get a chance to, or maybe even existing subscribers. You guys are great. All of you who have been with me since I started this thing. I appreciate all of you. So yeah, maybe it'll be all subscribers, not just new subscribers. But I need to work out some way to actually track who you are, because on YouTube I can see my subscriber list, but YouTube has privacy settings in your account. So every person gets to choose this. In your account, you can tell YouTube whether others can see the channels that you subscribe to or not. If you have that turned off, I can't tell if you're subscribed to me. So I can't just go to YouTube and say, give me a list of my subscribers, and pick one at random. So I need to work out some way for you guys to enter the contest, but yet also help me with the subscriber base, right? That's the point. So I'm just being honest with you guys. This isn't because I'm looking for you guys to solve this for me. I'm just trying to, be completely upfront about what it is that I'm working through to try to get this contest going, or this giveaway going. So yeah, I'm thinking it's going to be all subscribers, or at least all subscribers are eligible. But I need to find a way for you to prove that you've subscribed to my channel, because that's the point, right? I want subscribers, and you want free stuff. So the idea would be that I'll give away a free t-shirt of your choosing. Like, I'm not going to buy one and then send it to you. I will get one from Teespring based on what you want. I don't want to... I'm not going to pick the t-shirt and then you guys have to live with my choice. I'm going to leave it up to you guys. So we got to figure out how that's all going to work out. So yeah, more coffee. Coffee is good. Everybody likes coffee, right? I hope you like coffee. So yeah, I think that's about everything. Oh, something else fun that's going on in my life. I went for a run on Monday. Maybe no one cares about that. But I haven't run in years, and I used to love running. I ran in high school, and I've run off and on since then. My brother-in-law has gotten into running, and so has his son, who's 11, and he's been running 5Ks just recently. He started about a month ago. No training at all, and the kid's running under 30-minute 5Ks, which isn't great, but for an 11-year-old who has no training, that's not bad. So, he's not a member of any sort of a cross-country team or anything, so he's got no training and no one to train him, so I've been trying to help step in there and help my brother-in-law and his kid out. So that's made me feel like I should probably start running, and I should probably start running anyway, because it's good for you, right? So that's new in my life. I'm going to try to do that more often. I'm still sore. Just 3 days ago I ran. I'm still sore. I'm going to try to run again tonight, so that should be fun. So, yeah, I think that's everything, guys. I'm not going to ramble on any longer. I've already been going 21 minutes. I'm going to edit this down a bit. You guys don't need to see me picking my nose and stuff, right? All right, guys. Thanks for watching. Thank you to anyone who subscribes to my channel. Thank you to anyone who wants to start donating via Patreon. That's another way you can help me out. You could also just go buy stuff on my apparel store. That onesie that I was talking about is funny. I've been trying to make funny shirts for folks that people might be interested in. The problem is I'm a horrible promoter. So yeah, maybe I'll start making commercials. I don't know. I don't like commercials. Maybe you don't either. But all right, whatever. I'm officially off base and rambling now, so I'm gonna close it up today. Thank you guys for watching. Yeah, follow me on Twitter, SWBCrawler. We've got Facebook groups. There's an SWBCrawler like fan page or whatever you call it, and then there's another. I think I called it SWBCrawler official community where people can join and chat and whatnot. So that's fun. Instagram SWBCrawler, and of course YouTube. YouTube.com/C/SWBCrawler. You're already hear those, so hit the subscribe button and hit the little bell button, and when I have my giveaway, you'll get notified. Do that. Hit the thing. All right. Thanks, guys, and have a good week.